So what's more important, money or human lives? America has decided, and you probably won't like the answer. Check this out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. 17 days. 17 days. That's how long it's been since a single new case, not a death, a single new case of coronavirus has shown up in the country of New Zealand. They have gone 17 days without one new case. They are on the verge of declaring the island nation virus free. Australia has theirs. Well, in fact, in New Zealand started out, they had 1,154 cases. They have had 7 deaths throughout this whole thing. And they have done 294,000 tests, right? They are scrubbing their population, looking for anybody who might have had it. And today, they're reopening the country because they can't find that virus anywhere. Meanwhile, we're at 110,000 deaths, more or less, here in the United States. I mean, this is the breathtaking. I mean, it seems like we've decided that we're going to go full-on herd immunity, right? Just, that's it. Herd immunity. We're going to infect as many people as possible, and, old people and obese people and diabetic people and heart disease people and people with COPD, they're all going to die, but that's okay. They were going to die anyway. This seems to be the Republican Party's official position. At the same time that we're getting a report from a study by epidemiologists at Imperial College London, there are actually 2 of these reports that were published over the weekend in the journal Nature, both peer-reviewed. The first says that in the United States, because we shut down the country in the second week of March, from that time until a few weeks ago, they just looked at, coronavirus cases, and they estimated that we prevented, with those shutdown orders, 60 million cases just in the United States. They said that we dropped infection rates by an average of 82%, which was enough to drive this thing below epidemic rates. But if you want to have herd immunity, you got to have 60, 70% of the population immune, infected, and then recovered. Right now, we're at 3 or 4%, according to this study from the Imperial College London study. In fact, one of the researchers, his name is Samir Bhatt, he is the senior author of the study. He said, quote, "This is just the beginning of the epidemic. We are very far from herd immunity. The risk of a second wave is very real." And he points out stay-at-home orders, business closings, travel bans actually altered the course of this disease. And the problem that we have in the United States, we have given up. Now, which raises an interesting question. Why? Why have we given up here in the United States? Why did we never do the kind of serious testing that they did and contact tracing that New Zealand used to stop the virus cold in its tracks and eliminate it from their island, from their nation, that Australia is using, that Taiwan has used? Taiwan has had fewer than 200 people dead. South Korea, fewer than 300 people dead. They're using contact tracing and testing. Why did we never do that? Was it just that Donald Trump is just insanely incompetent? I suppose that's a possibility. Is there some sort of weird scientific theory here? We know that, I believe his name was Matt Woodcock, the British health minister for a while there, before Boris Johnson got the virus himself. Woodcock and nearly died from it. Woodcock is saying, well, maybe we should just, let's just go for herd immunity. Sweden kind of danced to the edge of that. And now Anders Tegan, the guy who was in charge of the policy, is saying, oh, that was a terrible mistake. We've got thousands of dead Swedes. In Norway, it's just a few dozen people. In Finland and Denmark and the countries surrounding Sweden, very few dead people. And the countries are still doing just fine. Thank you very much. I mean, there's been certainly an economic toll, but Their unemployment rates are nothing like ours. But we have a healthcare system that's not designed to deal with an epidemic. That's really not designed to deal with anything. We have these pre-existing health disparities that tend to be racially based because racial discrimination is at the core of pretty much everything that happens in the United States and has been since the founding of our republic. You've got state and local health departments that are desperately in need of cash, while all kinds of money is being poured into police departments, and not just money. Tactical weapons, tanks, giant devices that produce ear-splitting sonic noises, pepper gas, tear gas, CS gas, CN gas. It just goes on and on and on. You know what's going on. And then in the midst of this, I get this email. I've been getting these emails from FreedomWorks. FreedomWorks is the group that the Kochs helped kick off back in the day. It's been, sponsored by billionaires. FreedomWorks is the group that largely put together and promoted the Tea Party protests against Obamacare back in 2009 and 2010. And they have this newsletter that I've been getting for some time. Actually, Barney Rubble gets it. And Barney, this week, FreedomWorks President Adam Brandon spoke with Vice President Mike Pence, who wanted to thank FreedomWorks activists for supporting the reopening of our economy. Even better, he wanted us to pass on the great news that all 50 states are at least beginning to reopen. All across the country. This is from today's, for yesterday's, I guess it was, email. All across the country, Americans have had enough of the coronavirus lockdown. So far, nearly 25,000 activists like you, Barney, have driven over 46,000 messages and over 3,500 phone calls to every state governor, thanking the ones who have finally begun to answer your call to reopen America with a hashtag on it, and urging those who haven't to follow their lead. But Barney, we have to keep this up. Americans are done with these tyrannical stay-at-home orders. Right. So have we just given up? I mean, is that the essence of what's going on here? We have 110,000 dead Americans. We have a third of the dead people in the world here. We've got we're closing on 2 million. I mean, the best guess is that probably actually 5 to 6 million Americans have been or are infected with the COVID virus. Number may be slightly higher than that. It's still nothing close to what you need for herd immunity. But you've got people who are, obviously the ones who are showing up in the hospitals and melting down as their lungs fill up with little tiny blood clots. But people who are getting the blood clots elsewhere very often are not even being recognized as COVID. They're having blood clots that are causing heart attacks. They're having blood clots that are causing strokes. Both heart attacks and strokes are exploding as the coronavirus spreads across the country. And it's not, because people are staying at home too much or not getting enough exercise. It's the virus itself. This is how it shows up. It's causing permanent kidney damage. It's causing delirium. There was an amazing piece. In fact, I think I retweeted it over the weekend. It was over at nakedcapitalism.com about how ICU units are becoming delirium units because the virus, the fever and the blood clots into the brain, these little tiny strokes, are causing people to hallucinate and become delirious. Young people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 20s. Even if they survive, permanent damage. Is this what we're doing? We're just saying, to hell with it. Trump wants his RNC with no masks, no social distancing? Really?